Welcome everyone. Today you are going to learn how to stand out on Pinterest with a searchable, culturally competent buyer. I'm your host Chantell Collins from Pin Advertising, and I'm joined by our guest expert Cassandra from the Quirky Pineapple Studio. We're going to teach you how to find Pinterest keywords that count, how to create a culturally competent bio that sounds like your brand, how to put it all together to enhance your discoverability and impact on Pinterest. And finally, we'll also be providing feedback on a few Pinterest bios that were submitted. So first of all, who am I? I am Chantell Collins, the founder of Pin Advertising, a boutique Pinterest marketing and ads agency with a fully remote team. Online business owners come to us when they're ready to generate long-term traction and reach a global audience. On a personal note, I'm a veggie lover, a proud night owl, and I have lived in 7 countries and counting. I'm currently in Austria.
Hi, everyone. I'm super excited to be here. My name is Cassandra. My pronouns are she, they. I'm a multicultural creator, a brand strategist, and a marketing consultant. And I run the Quirky Pineapple Studio, which is a creative marketing and media agency based in Spain. I'm originally from Virginia in the United States. And a couple other fun things about me. I am a bubble tea enthusiast. Although somebody did send me, I think, a story one time that some of like the tapioca bubbles, you shouldn't be eating them too much because they're not good for you. So I've been trying to cut back. I am a stationary nerd and I have 13 plus years of experience creating content across all mediums. And I just came back from a 3.5 week trip to Vietnam. It was the first time I've been back since 1999. And I got to experience the country with both my parents and then both my sisters. So it was really amazing. And I'm really excited to be here to share about Pinterest with you all today.
Okay, great. So we're going to talk about how to find Pinterest keywords that count. First of all, why does it even matter? Pinterest is a visual search engine. That means that keywords enable users to find content through search terms or feed recommendations that are influenced by their interaction. Essentially, what this means is that if someone is on Pinterest, they can search for something using the search bar. So they can type in a query, which is usually 1 to 3 words based on what they're interested in learning more about. But then they also are recommended content by Pinterest. And so that's through their home feed, recommended based on who they follow, what content they're interacted with as well. Both of these are what makes Pinterest a search and discovery platform. So how does this apply to you and how can you use this to enhance your reach on Pinterest? Your Pinterest profile provides context. Pinterest looks at every aspect of your profile to help distribute and rank your content and users' feeds. So essentially, anywhere you have text is a potential for you to show Pinterest what your content is about. So on your cover image, in your Pinterest business name, in the bio, as well as your Pinterest boards, the board names, board descriptions, as well as the pin titles, pin descriptions, and the pin text overlay. So there's a lot of places where you have the opportunity to help Pinterest understand what your brand is about, what your content is about, and to recommend that to people. Today, we're concentrating on the top part, which is your bio. So where to find Pinterest keywords. There's 3 places that you can find keywords for Pinterest. The first would be Pinterest Predicts. These are emerging trends that Pinterest has essentially pulled all this data together and has used that data to predict what it thinks people will be searching for, interested in, and purchasing for the next year. One of the Pinterest predicts is cute coins. So this is a trend based on personal finance, and it's about how to make personal finance cute and fun. And it also has some ideas for trending search terms there, and as well as some examples of like creative aesthetic that's assigned to it. Pinterest Trends is the more up-to-date version of Pinterest Predicts. So Pinterest Predicts is more like the next 12 months, and Pinterest Trends is more your day-to-day trend finder. You can do that by going to your menu on Pinterest and then just clicking to Pinterest Trends. Once you get to Pinterest Trends, you can select your region, let's say the US, for example, and it's going to show you top trends within the US for this month. As we scroll down, we have the choice between types of trends. So monthly trends, yearly trends, growing trends, or seasonal trends. So we'll go with yearly trends And then we can choose what we want to filter by. So in the situation where we're talking about finance, we can actually choose an interest based on finance. So if I scroll down and click on finance, it will filter it to show me the top yearly trends within the finance interest. So these are people who are interested in finance. As I mentioned before, we know that through the way they've interacted. Pinterest collects that data on how they've interacted with content. So based on those people who are interested in finance, we can see that there's a trend of savings challenge. So people are searching for savings challenger. They're searching for budget planner as well. So you can filter by interest. You can also put in specific keywords. If you have a Google search keyword, people search for in Google, you could see if that's also relevant on Pinterest. And then you can also filter by age and gender. So the third way to find keywords is through the Pinterest search tab. So I've already looked at Pinterest predicts, I've looked at Pinterest trends, and I can see that, some people are interested in like content around save money. If that was aligned with the content that I was creating, maybe I have a course or maybe I have a sort of membership, something like that. I could see like, okay, what comes up when I look for save money? So as I type save money into the search bar, we can see, first of all, that the search is populating. We can also see it has associated searches with it. So save money tips, save money challenge, and save money aesthetic. This is really good indications that people are actually searching not only for save money, but then also the other associated queries. The other thing that's really interesting is that Pinterest is pulling up these profiles that have similar keywords within the name. So we see here money for mamas, budgeting finances, and saving monthly money tips. Pinterest has recognized based on their business name and their profile that this profile is associated to this keyword. And so that's why it's so important that if you are trying to get an audience to take action, that they're able to find you and that Pinterest is able to connect their queries to your profile. So I'm going to hand over to Cassandra.
So now we're going to get into crafting a culturally competent bio. So culturally competent messaging, this is like a very short version, but it's really about tailoring your message to resonate with different audiences, all while recognizing and respecting their unique cultural backgrounds. And what do I actually mean when I say cultural backgrounds? So a lot of the times when we think about culture, most of us will probably think about the home country that we are from or the country that we live in, or we can usually think about food, probably like music, and sometimes clothes. So most of the time when you say, "Oh yeah, my culture is," for example, me would be from the United States or also being Vietnamese, or I would say, "Oh, I am now living in Spanish culture because I live in Spain." And those are like really broad aspects of culture. But what we want to do in culturally competent messaging is actually dig deeper into your ideal client's identity. And here is an example of a pin that is actually not mine, but it was really good. So this one is how to build a personal brand when you're an introvert. And being an introvert, it has like its own subculture to it. Right? I'll talk from an extrovert point of view. There are extroverts who really love going to concerts, so that's like a whole subculture. There are extroverts who just love like hosting parties, that's another subculture. So these are all things that we want to take into account when also writing our Pinterest bio, mainly because you want to get really, really specific. And this is why I like focusing on human-centered ideal client avatars, using specific adjectives to describe your audience or to describe the type of business or service that you offer instead of opting for generalizations. Something that I have seen in marketing trends in general with Gen Z is that a lot of them are really opting for like labels again. Labels is probably not how they would describe it, but they really like to cling to a specific like identifier, and that's what people are searching for, whether it's on Pinterest, TikTok, or other search engines. But that's kind of what I mean when I'm talking about crafting a culturally competent bio, and then really using human-centered identifiers for your ideal clients, which just really means that it's time to dig deeper into who they are instead of kind of just saying small business owners. Maybe they are introvert small business owners, or maybe they are cozy small business owners. What is it that like really pulls them together? And what is something that is like an interest or an identity that they gravitate towards? I'm
I
gonna,
have a question,
yeah,
actually, Cassandra. When you talk about like the labels, do you see a crossover between like aesthetics, like baddie? Do you see that there is some overlap, or are they completely different in your mind?
I don't think they are different. I see my Gen Z sister, and she really uses identifiers like baddie. Me saying that, I'm like, "Ooh, that sounds so funny for me to say it out loud." But she says things like, "Oh, I'm like a baddie," or she's like, "Oh, I'm in my soft girl era," and it, like, fluctuates. So I don't even know if she actually realizes that she is, like, multifaceted, and it really depends on, I think, the, like, cultural and social trends that are happening, but she'll pick up and adopt, and then when she does pick up and adopt certain, like, identifiers, they change. So, like, maybe right now she's in her baddie era, so she's looking for things, especially in the United States, because it's summer, so she's looking for, like, summer clothes, summer outfits, summer activities, and then when it gets into fall, I can see her honestly looking up, like, soft girl life, and I feel like it really changes. So I don't know if it would make sense to change every time. I do feel like it would probably be digging deeper into what, like, somebody's core is, and then going from there. Because, like, yeah, she might consider herself a baddie today, but maybe to her core, she considers herself a baddie 24/7, so I don't know.
Pinterest created a recent campaign so for Pinterest users, and it actually shows a girl sort of falling through an Alice in Wonderland tunnel. She's seen something and she's like, "Oh, now I'm like into like Goblin Core. Okay, now I'm a soft girl, and now I'm into this." And I think as online business owners, I mean, it really depends also on your audience. Like if your audience is older, they're not going to be trending through these cycles as fast. But I think if they are younger, if you don't want to sort of be chasing trends, and like you said, it's about finding what's the consistency rather than, otherwise being reactive, I guess. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, I totally agree. I do feel like a lot of what Gen Z is doing, like falling through all of the trends and like picking up, dropping things off, it's inspiring, I think, millennials to
Mhm.
almost do the same. So I feel like maybe if your audience is like an older audience, I don't want to say millennials are old, a more mature audience, I guess. Because that would be me. I do feel like they probably have, like, a core essence, and they are curious to see what the other ones look like, so I wonder if this is now less about bio, but more about content, if there are different ways to create pieces of content that can kind of pick up on different trends and kind of do it from, like, different perspectives.
Okay, yeah, I think it's good context to have as we go into the next section when we're going to talk about putting your bio together. So I'll jump into that now. Okay, so now we've covered different ways you can find Pinterest keywords, and we've also talked about what you could consider when crafting your culturally competent messaging. So now we're going to talk about specifically how to put it all together on Pinterest, and specifically like how to adjust your bio. So the first thing is your profile name. So when I was showing the example before, when I typed in the keyword save money, we saw some profiles populating as suggestions because they had similar keywords. So you can actually add in a couple of keywords to your profile name. And so these are a couple of suggestions to consider and building on what Cassandra was talking about. So you'd look at your keywords that you found through the methods that I shared, and then you can look at what you can add onto your name. So in my case, my business name is Pin Advertising. And then what I've added onto the name is Pin Advertising for online business owners. So that's our audience. And I know those are keywords that are related to our audience. But you could also say who it is that you're providing the service to or selling the product to. Or if your name isn't like literally what you do, you could say exactly what it is that you're selling or what you're offering. So if your name was like your name, or if it was something a little bit more abstract, for example, our client Come and Get It shop for feminist earrings. That way it's still her brand name, but it includes those keywords as well. So again, so this helps your brand stand out, makes your profile more searchable. I would recommend keeping the business name under 65 characters because that's what will appear on mobile and that's what most people use. Okay, so the next is the bio. So we can see here we have the name of the profile, and then below we have the bio here. You can highlight who the brand is, who you help, what the value is that you bring, and you can use that to integrate those keywords, to integrate your messaging, and you could even add a call to action depending on what you think is the most valuable messaging that you want to portray to your audience within that short amount of time. Because you only have a few seconds, so it's really finding out what is the most valuable information to include, the most valuable keywords, and trying to keep it to 130 characters or less, because again, that's what you'll see on mobile. So in this case, I've included start your Pinterest journey with proven templates, prompts, and planners to generate long-term traction for your online business. And so the keywords that we have here are Pinterest as well as like online business. And even though the words aren't together, like Pinterest templates, Pinterest prompts, and Pinterest planners, Pinterest still understands that they are associated to each other. So two of these are clients, and one of these I pulled as sort of like an example of a bigger brand. Tony's Choco Lonely, which is like currently our household's like obsession. So, and what's interesting is this actually their account's very new. So on their profile, they have Tony's Choco Lonely, which I feel like they could add chocolate into their name there, and that would give them a more of a benefit. But in their bio, they have included an impact company that happens to make chocolate on a mission to make all chocolate worldwide 100% exploitation free. And that's something that they've been getting a lot of PR about. So yeah, I'm curious to hear, Cassandra, what you think of that one.
I felt like the Pinterest bio when I read it was less about getting people to buy their chocolate and kind of just like what you were saying, like a PR thing. And for me, the Pinterest bio is fun, but I don't know if it necessarily targets like anybody if they wanted to sell like their chocolates through Pinterest. It just feels like it's a very like brand awareness type bio, which maybe that's what they want their Pinterest to be, just all about brand awareness. But because I do know that people sell a lot through Pinterest, I wonder if they would want to open up their market to like the actual Pinterest platform.
Yeah, and I think it is the case when I looked at their profile that they have just put it together, so that probably they've just like copied and pasted. Also, call me, like I'll do your pictures for you. There's work that can be done there, because it's like when someone looks at their profile, what do they want people to do? Like right now, like you said, it's going to tell people like they're 100% exploitation free. That's their differentiating factor, because they're one of the only chocolate makers that can claim that. And so they're waving that around everywhere, and that's great. But what do they want people to do? And I think that's the next question that I would be asking them when people come to their profile, like, what's the next step you want people to take? Do you want them to go to the website? Do you want them to learn more about the brand, put an order, take a quiz, like what chocolate bar are you? So there's a lot that could be done there. Yeah, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing because for me, if I were starting like a chocolate brand, I feel like I would go to their Pinterest profile and use it on my vision board based off the bio that they currently have. But I don't think they want to be like the hero brand to teach other chocolatiers how to make chocolate.
Yeah, there's a lot more that they can do in terms of content, like the recipes you can use with Tony's Chocolate Only or gifts. There's a lot of paths they can go. Something as well to consider is that you can always rotate it. Like if you have a seasonal campaign, you can consistently update your bio. You know, it's Easter, and now we have this Easter range of like Tony's Chocolate Only. You know, you can see the Easter range like here. So that's something to consider as well. Now we have 3 people that submitted their profiles for feedback. So Paige is a mom of 2 and the creative mind behind Little Change Creators. On their actual bio, they have award-winning toys and gifts for kids aged 4 plus. They've added the words colorful, calming, and eco. Yeah, I feel like depending on what you wanted to focus on, there's probably a lot more keywords associated with sustainability and eco toys, whether she wants to focus on the sustainability part and then add more of those words, or if she wanted to focus more on like the calming perspective. Yeah, so what keywords are relevant, but then also prioritizing what she wants to come across on her profile, as in what is more likely to resonate. What do you think?
Agree on what you said about the Pinterest keywords. And I was also thinking what the unique selling point would
Mhm.
be if like she wanted to highlight that. I believe she would be targeting like families who are on Pinterest, not like the kids themselves. For her bio, it would be kind of like describing what type of family or like if they have specific family values what those are if she could put them into the bio if they have like specific keywords. So like an eco-friendly family or a sustainable family, sustainably those types of things, since they could pull in Pinterest keywords as well and also kind of highlight the cultural competence and like the values that the family actually embodies. Oh yes, I agree.
Looking at adding in some of those keywords as adjectives. So
Yeah.
award-winning sustainable toys for, as you said, families who value calm and quiet.
Mm,
Without even doing keyword research, I'd say colorful's not that relevant.
I do feel like if it's calming, sustainable, eco, I feel like those are probably stronger keywords than colorful,
Mhm.
because I do feel like those keywords definitely embody more of, like, the values that the family will hold.
I think with a color, that really will come across visually as
Yeah,
well.
agree.
All right, let's move on to the next one. So this is from Sarah, who's on the call with us today for Stargaze Studio. Sarah, did you want to add anything before we jump in?
Yeah, maybe just like add a little bit of context. I don't remember when the last time was that I updated any of it. So I'm like open to anything. I've gone back and forth between wanting to use it to share educational resources, to sharing my portfolio, to doing different things. Right now, I'm not actively working on any of that. But yeah, I guess that's the context right now of how how me and Pinterest are right now.
Do you remember when you updated? Did you do any keyword research? WordPress web design is what you offer, but is that something you found through keyword research, or is that just something natural for you to put that in your bio?
Yeah, I didn't do keyword research per se. I did put them in hoping they would work as keywords, but I really wasn't familiar with like researching on Pinterest. I didn't actually look up things to see if it was trending or anything like that.
Yeah, okay. So I'll do the keyword part, and then Cassandra, if you want to chime in. So if you go through your actual profile and, for example, like WordPress web design, and then I would actually just go in and put in these little words and see, like, first of all, what comes up when you type WordPress web design, and seeing it from the user's perspective. If someone was coming to Pinterest and they're typing WordPress web design, are they searching for a web designer? Are they searching for inspiration for a design? And are they even searching? So at least we can cover the first part. So if I type in WordPress web design, we can see already that we have a few populated responses, but these are all other designers. And if we press enter, we can start to see what results come up. We know people are searching for this because we have these related keywords. So these are essentially like longer tail keywords. So someone's not only searching for WordPress web design, but they're also searching WordPress web design ideas, inspiration, themes. The next thing you can also look at what content comes up and if that's related to what you're offering. And again, if you want to be clear about is it design or designer, whether you only want to focus on your service offering, or if you're also open to having people who are looking for design come into your profile and looking at inspiration and content resources and that kind of thing. So essentially what I would say is going through the keywords from your buyer and seeing, is it a keyword? Then also having a look at the content and making sure that that is related to what you offer and who you work with. Once you have that collection of keywords that people are searching for and it's related to what you're offering or the content that you put out, then prioritizing it. Do you want people to know you as a web designer, or are you happy for it to be sort of about WordPress web design? And then they can sort of like work through your funnel or your ecosystem and going through your resources and making their way down that path, wherever that might take them if they become a client or if they end up joining one of your memberships. How does that sound to you so far?
Actually, it's very useful, like to think about it that way. So thanks for like showing like even like real life examples so that I can understand it better.
Oh, great. Okay. Cassandra, did you want to add something?
Okay, so yours says WordPress web design for wellness and self-development businesses. Align your online presence with your purpose. For me, on a culturally competent standpoint, I feel like it does sound culturally competent, and you're talking to like the wellness and self-development businesses. Their value is aligning their business with their purpose and like really showing up in alignment. So I feel like the word align is very clear. I do think probably what Chantell said about the Pinterest keywords applies more here than the culturally competent bio aspect. I don't have that much feedback. I think it was great.
If you are looking to start your Pinterest journey prepared, if you want to get a little bit more help, but you're still wanting to do it on your own with guidance, we do offer our impactful Pinterest marketing pack, which is your pathway to long-lasting success on Pinterest in as little as 4 hours. So you can have a fully optimized profile, you can have a full funnel strategy, you'll have templates and a bio that is searchable to help you increase your discoverability and impact on Pinterest. So because Cassandra is our guest expert, you can use the code Cassandra. You can get 10% off the impactful Pinterest marketing pack or any of our products. And as our guest expert and an affiliate, she receives a commission from that to say thank you. So that is our Content Espresso live on how to craft a searchable, culturally competent bio on Pinterest.